Sorcery killings under the microscope. Lay police boss says threats must stop. And one-off US deal for Manus refugees.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining me for Monday's news. Lawmakers, government department heads and senior members of churches have gathered in Ley for a 3-day conference to find a way forward to address sorcery-related killings in Papua New Guinea. The conference is seeking input from churches who lawmakers believe can influence a change of mindset. Over the past decade, hundreds of men and women have been murdered and tortured after being accused of sorcery.
This gathering in Ley is being held in the hope of finding new, improved solutions to the ongoing sorcery attacks in Papua New Guinea. The group, which includes heads of the Lutheran, Catholic, United and Pentecostal churches, is looking at possibilities that could involve awareness or funding existing programs aimed at changing the mindset of possible offenders.
How do you work on the mindsets and beliefs of people that all deaths are related to sorcery-related matters? And I guess I shared experiences of the villages I come from where...
The conference has also brought together key architects of the law, the Justice Secretary, Dr. Lawrence Kalinoy, and the Secretary for the Constitutional Law Reform Commission, Dr. Eric Kwa.
In 2013, Parliament repealed the Sorcery Act of 1971. Lawmakers were of the view that the Sorcery Act, as outdated as it was, provided some relief for offenders who could use sorcery as an excuse to continue the violence. But even with the changes to the law, it didn't stem sorcery-related killings.
Now what we thought was that, the law was not successful. The law was not able to deal with the situation. And one of the recommendations from the Constitutional Law Reform Commission was that we must get the churches to be involved in this, because it's about a mindset, it's about a belief. And the churches need to rise up and take ownership of this issue.
While the conference may have sanitized the violence of sorcery, realities like this remain. In this video footage posted on social media, women accused of sorcery are tortured in the most brutal manner. With the use of social media, many instances of violence are recorded and uploaded, providing a glimpse into the world of violent offenders. Azaria Sam, a village magistrate in Ley, has seen several instances where people accused of sorcery have been threatened and attacked.
Popular deaths been come finish. Related long sorcery. This levy division of two tribes place Kabum.
At the end of the 3 days, the conference will hopefully prepare a package for legislators and policymakers that will see churches use their influence again, hopefully to stem the violence. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Ley.
Police in Morabe are still waiting for the full report from the fire service and PNG Power on Mutsing police station that was destroyed by fire. Last month's fire destroyed the Mutsing police station. A prisoner who was locked up in the cell block was killed in the fire. Provincial Police Commander Chief Superintendent Augustine Wampe says police at this time have no leads. They cannot say what had happened and how the fire started. But officers who left the station unattended will face disciplinary action. Ley police are warning criminals and their supporters living at West Taraka settlement to stop issuing threats to police, as they will be investigated and apprehended if the threats continue. Ley Metropolitan Commander Chief Superintendent Anthony Wagambi says they have received information that criminal elements and their supporters are threatening to shoot down police.
Commander Wagambi says criminals and their supporters of those suspects who were arrested, charged and killed during a raid at the area last month are issuing threats to shoot down police. The criminals have been harassing some members of the public and those traveling in and out of West Taraka. Wagambi warns criminals police will not be moved. and are not intimidated by these threats from a small minority.
The police here now are more alert, and we're all working in coordination.
Police are now on alert and will investigate where these threats came from. Those caught will be dealt with accordingly. Police also have information that there are some individuals in the community who are assisting suspects who have been injured in the shootout on the mountaintops of West Tarakas settlement. Wagambi warned members of the public and individuals not to entertain crime and criminal elements. Mataluwis, National EMTV News, Ley.
The Australian government has secured a one-off deal with the Obama administration for the US to be an option for refugees in Manus and Nauru to resettle. While it is welcome news for refugees in Manus, details of this deal are yet to be released.
Ben Lomai, lawyer representing over 700 asylum seekers on Manus Island, welcomes this news.
If it is genuine, we are pleased, and in fact, the general atmosphere within the Lombrom and East Loringau is very good.
While the announcement was made yesterday by Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, details of this deal is yet to be released.
Now, as I understand, within the next 3 to 4 days, the U.S. official will be on the ground to monitor the situation and also assess as to who is eligible under this exercise for resettlement.
The Immigration and Citizenship Authority are also still in the dark on the details of this one-off deal. Because this deal is between the Australian government and the Obama administration, it may be a very small window of opportunity for genuine refugees, especially those on Manus Island, as the inauguration of Donald Trump as U.S. president draws near. Two things may work against them: Trump's strong stance on immigrants and the priority of this deal on women and children.
No children and mothers are on Manus Island. All of them are on Nauru. So they will be given the first priority. And of course, as I said, my clients will probably be looked at somewhere in the middle, if you look at the list down the line.
There are currently over 650 refugees who have been processed on Manus Island awaiting resettlement. Among them, less than 20 have indicated that they will settle in PNG, while others have said they will wait for a third country. Last week, Lomai filed fresh applications on behalf of the asylum seekers. This time, they are seeking 3 specific court orders. Firstly, for the asylum seekers to be returned to Australia. Secondly, for a third country option to be available to them. And thirdly, for compensation. If this deal between the Australian government and the Obama administration does eventuate, they will only seek compensation.
The Australian government and the U.S. government to ensure that they got to make sure that they effect this deal as soon as possible.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
The Catholic Archdiocese of Port Moresby today launched Papua New Guinea's first palliative health care project. The project is an initiative of the Catholic Church in partnership with the Health Department and funded by the Australian government to provide health care for the terminally and chronically ill.
The project was launched in the most traditional Catholic fashion. Documents containing a grant of 10 million kina from incentive funds to the Catholic Church was presented to the Catholic Archbishop of Mount Hagen, Douglas Young, who offered a traditional prayer of blessing over the project. The 10 million kina would fund the construction of a palliative health care center in Baroko. The concept of supportive living was developed by Catholic Church Health Service Executive Director Sister Tarcisia Hanhoff. Guest speaker and Health Secretary Pasco Kase said the project would alleviate the workload on existing medical professionals. The Australian High Commissioner Bruce Davis represented the Australian government as the major donor to this project. This new grant from Incentive Fund builds on prior partnership with the Catholic Church accounting for 19 million kina worth of projects in Western Highlands, Madang and Milne Bay. Melissa Gaviro, National EMTV News.
A funeral service of late Justice Catherine Diwani was held today at the St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Port Moresby. Families, fellow judges, members of the law and justice sector and friends attended the funeral mass for PNG's first female judge.
Late Justice Catherine Diwani's passing was a great loss for her families, the legal fraternity and those who stood beside her through thick and thin. Catherine was born on the 3rd of June 1960 to police officer John and Jacinta Kodana in the Waubulolo district of Morobe province. Reading a eulogy, son Alexander John Diwani described late Catherine as a special mom to father and husband John and siblings Reginald, Peter, Cecile and Alexander. Paying tribute, Chief Justice Salamo Injia described Justice Diwani as a dedicated judge who served with distinction and honor in both the National and Supreme Court jurisdictions. Apart from a job, Catherine was also a sport ambassador who contributed to the development of football in Papua New Guinea. The casket of the late judge will spend overnight at the Boroko family home before she is laid to rest tomorrow at 9 Mile Cemetery outside of Port Moresby. Eric Arutma, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. It was normal duties for nurses in Papua Northern Province. The Papua New Guinea Nurses Association branch president, Jenny Apollos, told EMTV News that nurses in Papua attended to normal duties. She said although the strike is healthy for their welfare, the government of the day must address critical needs. An appeal was made to nurses to resume normal duties as instructed. Failure to do so will result in consequences. A resource hub for women was opened today in Port Moresby. A joint initiative of the United States and Australian governments, the Women's Business and Resource Centre will ensure that women have access to information that support the development, growth and sustainability of their enterprises.
The opening of the Women's Business and Resource Centre is a significant milestone for women in the country. Women have been encouraged to use the facility to support the development, growth and sustainability of their enterprises to be active participants in the country's formal economy. Representing the Australian government, Ambassador for Women and Girls Natasha Stott-Despoja said female entrepreneurs need to acquire business knowledge to overcome challenges.
It's about creating a space where women with clever business ideas can find mentoring, access to technology, to help them start up these businesses.
U.S. Ambassador at Large for Global Women's Issues Catherine Russell said women entrepreneurs continue to face difficulty in accessing startup capital and they also struggle to join the formal economy.
And that's why, in addition to launching this center, the United States is partnering with Australia to incorporate entrepreneurship into university curricula. And we are funding the We Create Challenge, as you heard. Separately, the United States is providing $300,000 in technical assistance to the PNG Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which I think hopefully will be very helpful to the chamber. And today we're excited to announce that the United States is offering an additional $100,000 in small grants to help women from all over PNG. We're excited to partner.
A joint initiative of the U.S. and Australian governments, the Women's Business and Resource Centre will be managed by the Centre for International Enterprise, or CIPE, which is part of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. It cost $1.7 million Australian dollars to set up the Resource Centre and is the first of such collaboration between the Australian and U.S. governments under supporting women entrepreneurs. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
3 youths from a rural village in Tewai Siasi district of Morobe province departed for New Zealand this afternoon. They are part of the PNG contingent of fruit pickers under the Pacific Labour Mobility and the Seasonal Workers Program. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to work abroad for the trio from Sialum village, who are simple subsistence farmers and part-time laborers at the Sialum cattle ranch.
The trio will be in New Zealand for 6 months and are looking forward to learning new skills and improving their lives upon returning next year.
We want to placement. Time we finish in school, we go to a place. We know second chance for me. So Islam an opportunity for me. We feel amas.
Place la adla because we don't know what samplakan ko houses to start na sila kan plan kunay grass planting household stop na time household pebekim grass go round tamo sa kilimol kunay grass lumi bla so bla pino sa hard lumi bla na time brother bla so mo ko simple lo kamlong ene ni bla ko long kamek long bla ko na building mo sa mall permanent houses na kayo simlong kami plus stop long en
mi no sa kalalo balus mi place bang street so now first time lumi kam mi la golus la ko bot so mi ba ko kamekin so line sampla all line lumi ken inside of place.
Their 6-month stint was arranged under an agreement with their local community, which will see portions of their salary remitted directly to a community bank account to fund 3 proposed community-based impact projects in Sialum. Community leader Joe Tieng called on the Departments of Immigration and Labor to ensure the seasonal workers program focuses on less developed communities to benefit more disadvantaged youths. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
The Brian Bell Group of companies has opened a new mall in Lae City 3 years after a fire destroyed the previous building. This afternoon, Morbe Governor Kelly Naru and other dignitaries officially opened the building, marking the start of trading. This is one of several investments in Lae City as the country goes through tough economic times.
The new building boasts bigger and better services for the lay public. Several businesses are housed in the new building. Earlier today, the final touches were being made to the interior as staff prepared for the opening tonight. In 2014, the block of old buildings, which also included Brian Bell, burnt down in spectacular fashion, a fire that drew looters from all corners of the city. Now the company is in recovery as it works to re-establish itself. This is one of several important local investments by various businesses in the last 6 years. Next week, another major Port Moresby-based company will also open a branch in Lae. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
After a 6-year ban on the harvest of sea cucumber, Fisheries and Marine Resource Minister Mao Zemming today announced the harvest will resume in January 2017. The National Fisheries Authority Board made the decision to lift the ban after it was satisfied from survey results. A new management plan approved to ensure that Bakdemar is harvested under strict conditions. As a result of overfishing, a moratorium on the harvest was imposed in 2009 due to its stock and species depleting rapidly. And now looking at our finance news, the kina opened unchanged at $0.3155 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3080, $0.4053 Australian dollars, $0.2814 euro and 32.61 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, cocoa closed higher, gold and coffee closed lower. While copra closed the day unchanged, palm oil and crude oil closed lower, while copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 39.78 points higher. The ASX is trading at 11 points lower. The All Ordinaries is trading at 11.3 points lower. When we come back, security operations for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Police have reported no major criminal incidents over the weekend in Port Moresby. Since last Monday, over 200 police officers have been conducting operations on 4 different shifts, both for FIFA security and normal city policing. They include random checks on selected roads, venues and accommodation inspections, and footbeat patrols.
Reports from the Office of the National Capital District Metropolitan Superintendent revealed that no major crimes were reported to police since last Friday evening. However, there were incidences of drunk driving, illegal consumption of drugs and stealing. Airport Police Station Commander Robert Diwani told MTV News that police are on full patrol starting as early as 5 o'clock in the morning. For the next 2 weeks, police and correctional officers will be conducting special security operations. These operations are to ensure Papua New Guinea delivers a safe and secure FIFA. As for the opening FIFA matches last night, there were no major criminal incidences reported to police. Similar operations will be conducted tonight. Tekla Gunga, National MTV News.
Preparations for the 2017 National General Election is in progress for police in Northern Province. Provincial Police Commander Chief Inspector Lincoln Girari told MTV News that they are ready for the operations, and it has begun with strong warnings issued to police personnel to keep away from intending candidates.
The 2017 National General Election is coming up, and already police in Northern Province are geared up for their operations. Provincial Police Commander Lincoln Girari says they have enough manpower and 200 personnel will be engaged in the election operations.
Yes, I already started updating my manpower. I have asked the CIS to provide the names, and they did it. They did, and I also looking at the ex-defense, police, and CIS officers. I want to bring them in so that we can let them to do the job.
Money and logistic support will be provided by the police department.
But at this stage, I've not been informed about how much they're going to give us and whether there's any support for logistics.
And warnings have already been issued for those personnel taking part in the election operation next year not to interfere with any intending candidates.
And that's a strong warning I gave to them, and I'm going to maintain that up until the end of the elections. And so far so good. The behavior of the police has been changed when I took over, and they are now listening to the command.
Fabian Hakelitz, National MTV News.
Caritas Technical Secondary School will soon be offering its technical education to students in West New Britain Province. This was announced by School Directress Sister Florentina Cho at the 6th Hamamas Christmas concert held last night. The annual Christmas concert is held to bring the school, parents and benefactors together.
The Caritas Technical Secondary School held its annual Hamamas Christmas concert last night to raise funds for the sister school that will open its doors next year. School Director Sister Florentina Cho said the fundraising was a stepping stone for the project in Kimbe.
Next year, February, already we can start. So this year, the end of December, so that means before Christmas, if they are there in Kimbe, they are having the entry exam. If they are outside of the Kimbe, they can come in January, so that after entry exam, there is nobody failed, will be failed, so it will be everybody welcome. Those who are grade 8 leavers. Same curriculums and everything the same. Just the number, it would be about, next year about 3 classes or 4 classes of grade 9, and then start with, and it will be in the end of that grade 12, there will be about 500 students.
The school has continued its efforts in raising awareness of classical music with performances by professional pianists from South Korea, Eun-hee Kim, and baritone Angelo Byun. The concert also featured the school brass band in a special performance with the RPNGC band. Students also showcased their talents in fashion creativity with a sarong exhibition that wowed the crowd. Other performances include the school choir, CTS's faculty, and Caritas sisters. Merlin Diaukatam, National MTV News.
Chukai Sports is next. We'll have all the reviews and previews of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Football fever in the nation's capital continues. A while ago, USA played France while Germany took on Venezuela. Later tonight, Ghana plays New Zealand while Mexico will take on Korea. That match will be televised live on EMTV at 7 p.m. We now cross over to Jeremy Moggy to give us a review of the matches so far.
Thank you, Helen. Papua New Guinea's Under-20 women's team went down to a tough opponent in their first opening pool match yesterday. Brazil showed no mercy with a record equaling 9-0 win at a packed Sejongkai Stadium in Port Moresby.
Thank you, Jeremy. Chukai Sports continues after the break. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. The PNG Pukpuks have jumped on board the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Papua New Guinea 2016 bandwagon, wishing our very own lasses the best of luck in their pool matches. Speaking from Hong Kong, captains Tisa Kautu and Clifford Valley pledged their support for the remainder of PNG's matches in the World Cup.
Hi girls, first of all, congrats on being selected to represent PNG at the Under-20 World Cup. From myself and the rest of the Pukpuks boys here in Hong Kong, I wish you all the best of luck for the tournament. Good luck.
I just want to wish the PNG Under-20 girls soccer team all the best for the remaining games. Don't worry about the results. We with you all to the end.
Yeah, girls, no gonna worry. Lo comments lo line about. You play just focus lo game dibla. Lo mas lo proud lo Jesse lo wearing me. So go to lo field na play all the best. Give mo the best people to play a game. So no gonna busy lo man comments also. People all rugby boys tawan dibla.
This is a huge shout out coming from the PNG Pukpuks in Hong Kong to our women's Under-20 team in PNG. We'd like to call on the rest of Papua New Guinea to support this team in the next couple of weeks. Now, go PNG!
To Rugby Union, the Pukpuks' first loss in the Cup of Nations tournament against Hong Kong was an eye-opener for the national side, highlighting the stronger level of rugby played by Tier 2 nations. Leading into their second match on Tuesday against World Cup qualifying nation Russia, the Pukpuks will have to prepare for a much more brutal 80 minutes.
Following their loss against tournament hosts Hong Kong, the Pukpuks have regrouped for what will be a bigger challenge, the Russians.
I'm pretty sure the boys have taken a lot from the Hong Kong game, and Russia having played World Cup rugby, and also they've been on a full-time program for the last couple of years. It won't be any easier tomorrow, but our boys are prepared for it.
Despite the loss of several key players in halfback Nigel Guinea, Richard Gebob, Wesley Thomas and Bradley Kelagai, coach Sydney Wesley remains adamant on the team's composition.
Number 7, Bradley Kelagai, is 50-50 at this stage, but we've ruled him out for tomorrow's game, and coming into tomorrow he'll be about 60-70%. We'd like him to be playing 100%.
The Russians, who have a World Cup under their belt, will certainly push the Pukpuks physically.
Tomorrow, having a look at the Russian-Zimbabwe game and looking at it, I think it'll be another torrid encounter for us.
The PNG Pukpuks will take on Russia tomorrow, 7 p.m. PNG time. Now, this will be one of the biggest challenges of the tournament, not just because the Russians are the defending champions, but they are also a World Cup qualifying nation. Lorraine Guinea, National EMTV Sports, Hong Kong.
And that ends Chukai Sports. The weather details next. Stay with us.
Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. With doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for the southern region only, mostly fine and sunny in Port Moresby, mostly fine in Daru and Kerama, and fine in Alotau and Popondetta.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. With doing with Dulux.
And that has been the news, sports and weather for tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, thank you for your company. Good night.